Let me ask you something. What if you could actually test drive a different life? A life where you took that other job or chased that dream or maybe never broke up with that person. Well, that is the exact fascinating question at the heart of Matt Haig's novel, The Midnight Library. And today, we're going to dive deep into its really profound, thought-provoking world. And this quote right here, this single, powerful idea is the engine for the entire story. It's not just a building. It's more like a philosophical waiting room, a holding pattern between what was and what could be, offering up an infinite number of second chances. So, to understand why anyone would even need a library like this, we have to meet our protagonist, Nora Seed. At 35 years old, she feels less like a person and more like, well, a collection of missed opportunities and really deep disappointments. And it's not just a feeling. Her world literally actively collapses around her in a single day. I mean, in just over 24 hours, every little thing holding her life together just gets kicked away. Her cat, her job, her friendships, her sense of purpose, boom, gone, one by one, leaving her feeling completely and utterly alone. And all this stuff happening on the outside, it just feeds this story she's been telling herself for years. She doesn't see her life for what it is. She sees it for all the things it isn't. She could have been an Olympic swimmer, a glaciologist exploring the Arctic, a rock star. Every path she didn't take feels like a personal failure, like a ghost of a better version of herself that she just let slip away. And this feeling just builds and builds until it leads to a final, heartbreaking note. She's convinced she's a burden, a failure, and she decides her story is over. She makes the choice to end her own life. But here's the thing. That's not the end of her story. It's actually a very, very bizarre new beginning. Nora wakes up, but she's somewhere else entirely. Not heaven, not hell, but something in between. Out of this mist, this huge, mysterious library just appears, stretching on forever. It's filled with these endless shelves of identical green books. But get this, there are no walls, and weirdly, no exit. A giant clock is just hanging in the air, its hands frozen solid at midnight. And no, this isn't some metaphor. It's real. Nora looks down at her own watch, and time itself has literally stopped. The display is just stuck. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. She is completely outside of time, in a place where the normal rules of reality just don't apply. So here she is, in this strange, infinite place, and who does she find? Not some angel or a cosmic guide, but a comforting, familiar face from her childhood, her old-school librarian, Mrs. Elm. Okay, so this is where the magic of the story really kicks in. Mrs. Elm starts to explain the rules of this impossible place and how Nora can actually navigate it. So what is the Midnight Library? Well, Mrs. Elm explains that it's basically an archive of all of Nora's potential lives. Every single green book on these infinite shelves is a portal, a chance to experience a reality that branched off from a different choice she made. As Mrs. Elm puts it, every tiny choice we make creates a whole new version of our life story. But here, in the library, all those different versions are real, and they're accessible. It is the ultimate what-if machine. But before Nora can start exploring all these new lives, she has to confront her old one. Mrs. Elm hands her the single, heavy, gray book. And this one isn't a portal. Nope, it's a catalog of every single regret she has ever carried with her. And the process is actually pretty fascinatingly simple. First, Nora has to pick a regret from that big gray book. Then, Mrs. Elm finds the matching life book on the shelves. As soon as Nora opens it, bam, she's dropped right into that alternate reality. The only way back to the library is to feel a true, profound sense of disappointment with that life. But, and this is the kicker, if she finds a life she truly loves, she gets to keep it. So, with literally infinite choices in front of her, Nora knows exactly which regret she wants to fix first. It's the one she feels is the source of all her other problems. Her decision to call off her wedding to her fiancé Dan, just 2 days before the ceremony. And this is where we see the book's main idea in action. See, in Nora's head, the life with Dan was this perfect dream. A cozy country pub, a loving marriage, the whole thing. But the reality she steps into, it's a total nightmare. The pub is a financial disaster, Dan is distant and drinks way too much. And even worse, she quickly finds out he's been cheating on her. The ideal she'd been mourning all this time was just that, an ideal. It wasn't real. The final straw comes when she mentions how, in her other life, He used to send her texts saying he missed her voice. His response in this life is just cold and so cutting. And that's what triggers that complete sense of disappointment. And just like that, boom, with that sharp pang of disappointment, Nora is pulled right back into the safety of the library. Her first journey is over. She's safe, but she's shaken because she's just learned a powerful and painful lesson about the nature of regret itself. And this really gets to the heart of the whole story, doesn't it? Her first attempt to fix her biggest mistake didn't lead to happiness. It led to a whole new kind of misery. So it forces us to ask, is erasing our regrets really the answer? This is the story's first huge revelation. Nora realizes she wasn't actually regretting the real life she would have had with Dan. A messy, complicated life with money problems and infidelity. She was mourning a fantasy, an idealized version that only existed in her imagination. It's a powerful reminder that the grass isn't always greener. And that leaves us with a big question to think about. Nora's journey is just getting started. She has countless other lives to explore. But it forces us to look at our own paths not taken. If you had access to that library, what choice would you undo? And do you think the reality would be anything like you've imagined?